Well, welcome along to the Timeform Sporting Life weekend preview and a bit of both this weekend in the action in the company, Ben Linfoot and Matt Brocklebank. We've got the feature race at Doncaster and a bet from both at Cheltenham too for their showcase meeting. That feature race is the last Group 1 of the British season. It's the Cameco Futurity Trophy Stakes. We're going to get the Timeform ratings up on the screen. Aidan O'Brien dominated this race in recent times, but this time it's a Godolphin horse, Ancient Wisdom, who tops the shop on 129. £4 clear of Dancing Gemini, and Aidan's number one hope, Diego Velazquez, another £4 further back, but with a P. So top of the shop is Ancient Wisdom. Matt, we've got video footage of him coming up shortly for Charlie Appleby. He was supplemented into the race. He's bidding to be Appleby's first Group 1 winning 2-year-old of this season. Should he be favourite?
I think he should. Yeah, he's €2 million, son of Dubai. He's actually bred to be really smart, isn't he? His dam's dam was a half-sister to Goldic Over, and he's already living up to the billing. I think, obviously, he's had the 4 runs, so he's had the more exposure. He's had double the amount of appearances than Diego Velazquez, one of his main market rivals. And this was him getting back on track after the Ascot third, form that's worked out really well, the Rosalian race at Ascot in July. This was him getting back to winning ways in the Autumn Stakes, a race the yard has used as a springboard for many of their top talents over the years. And he was very, very impressive. As expected on that sort of quality pedigree, he improved for the move up to a mile, and I think he improved for the softer ground as well on the day. Put them away really quite readily. We also know, if you go back to the July course win, we know that was a relatively easy win, but we know he can battle. That day at Newmarket, he beat a horse called Never So Brave, almost sort of 2 lengths in the end, but he did have to knuckle down, and Never So Brave, he since came out and finished very close to Van Dijk, who's gone on to win 2 Group 1. So we know that the form, the body of form, is very, very strong. And he sets the standard on Timeform ratings. I think he should be favourite, yeah.
He isn't. It's Diego Velazquez, Ben. He's 2 from 2, 2.4 million guineas purchase, son of Frankel for Aidan O'Brien. This is the second of those wins at Leopardstown. It's hard work, isn't it? But he's a horse who you think is going to keep finding.
Yeah, it is hard work this day, but it's only his second start. Aidan O'Brien came out afterwards and said he thinks he'll come on an absolute ton for it, and you do see it with the horses that Aidan normally wins this race with. They do use it as a springboard, and Diego Velazquez there, second at the minute, just catching up his stablemate Capulet, and he battles really nicely to win this race over a mile. It's a race that's worked out well. You'll see the 3rd and 4th coming home there, Atlantic Coast and Deep One. Both of those have come out and frank performing group races in Ireland. So it looks strong form. The key thing is, how much is he going to improve from that? His trainer thinks it's going to be a hell of a lot. If he does, I think he's the one to beat. The one question mark is the very heavy ground at Doncaster. Obviously Friday's meeting abandoned, and it's going to be really testing. Has he, you know, that was good for firm that day at Leopardstown. It is a question mark with him, but I think it's factored into his odds now. You've seen the Godolphin horse go favourite. Diego's out to, you know, prices as big as 5 to 2. He's bet territory for me at those odds, I must admit.
The ground's a factor, clearly. As you say, we lost Friday's meeting. It'll be very, very heavy. Ben, we're going to have a look at the pace map for this Futurity. But this is how Timeform think it's going to be run, but you can never be 100% certain in these conditions, can you?
No, you can't. Dear a mile there, ex-Charlie Johnston, now Owen Burrows, is the dot in the middle on the right-hand side, and he could be the one to take them along. He was beaten at 1 to 5 at Chelmsford over 10 furlongs last time, and drops back in trip here. But he does look a possible to go forward, like many of Charlie Johnston's do. He has been front-running.
He's quirky, is he? You won't be on his left-hand side when he's...
Yeah, he's got a trainer upgrade going to Owen Burrows on Timeform.
Is that a Linfoot trainer upgrade?
But yeah, he looks a pace angle. You'd think Battle Cry as well is going to be the sacrificial lamb for Ballydoyle. Ben Curtis on board, he's going to be up there as well. And I don't think Diego's going to be far from the pace at all, because he doesn't look a horse with a turn of foot, certainly over a mile, but he's going to grind away, and yeah, I think that's how this will be run. And the Godolphin horse probably held up like he was at Newmarket.
Matt, people talk about 2-horse race. On Timeform numbers, this really isn't. Dancing Gemini, bang up there, second top rated. And we've got video footage of Dancing Gemini from Newbury. This is a horse firmly on the upgrade.
Definitely, yeah, because he was only 5th in the aforementioned Rosalian race at Ascot when Ancient Wisdom finished 3rd. So he does strictly have a little bit to find with that horse, but he's subsequently shown improved form himself This was him winning really nicely on the good to soft ground at Newbury. And he's since announced himself big time at the St Ledger meeting, didn't he? Winning the Flying Scotsman, proved himself at Doncaster and on proper soft ground in the process that day. So he needs to take another jump forward, but he really has been progressing throughout the year. Roger Teal holds him in really high regard. You could see him putting up another career best, and it could well be enough to see him sort of in the first two. He might well be able to bustle up these top two, I think.
As Bucksfizz sang to a Eurovision, it's making your mind up time, Scoop. Where's your vote go?
I like Diego Velasquez. I mean, Aidan O'Brien's won this race 11 times and he's got his best crop of juveniles, you would think, for a long time. And he often uses a two-race prep coming into this race. Exactly what he's done with Diego. I think he'll be fine on the ground. It is a question mark, but I think if there's one top-notch Group 1 class colt in this field, I think it's Diego Velasquez.
Matt?
Yeah, I think if you ignore that kind of O'Brien history in the race, I know it is hard to do. If you ignore that, then Ancient Wisdom does have to be favourite. He's the horse that every horse has to beat. I would just mention Red Hot Whisper. Now, he's going to be a really big price. He's actually 3-4 times the price of God's Window, who he chased home in a course and distance maiden just recently last month. But he's £3 better off, and I thought he ran really well, considering he was really keen through the early stages, this Red Hot Whisper. I was amazed to see him finish off so strongly behind God's Window. So I think, if you're looking for a small match bet or something, or maybe him to hit the frame, him to finish in the first three, Ben Brookhouse trains him. They landed a bit of a touch, didn't they, with the Ledger Legends race at Donny last month, and he's not looked back since. He's had winners on bumpers on the flat over hurdles. So, yeah, definitely a trainer going places and making a name for himself. So Red Hot Whisper could outrun his odds.
Well, before we move on for the guys' best bets from Cheltenham, just a quick promo for a new podcast we're launching on Sporting Life in association with the Professional Jockeys Association. It's called Taking the Reins, which a host of big-name riders and a host of jockeys from elsewhere in the weighing room give their thoughts and background to the sport of racing. Here's a little promo about what's to come.
I went into horse racing and was just like, well, this is what I'm going to do. Like, that was it.
A day of coming away to win the Champion Stakes in the hands of Tom Marquand.
I think it will remain the best tactical ride I'll ever give a horse on a race course.
You have to figure out how you can get the bad horses to win. The good ones will take you there, the bad ones, you have to make them there.
We had a hippo come up to our gaff once, so Dad, there's a hippo at the front door, like. Call the gearbox.
I'd just be sitting in the bath and I could lose probably 4 or 5 now, easy enough.
You ever sit there and think, this is f***ing mental?
You've got to take it off some ways.
Nashwa gets right away to win the Falmouth Stakes impressively.
But I think you have to have a bit of obsession to operate at the highest of levels.
When McLean went, that's when everything else went. A lot of money on very young shoulders.
Billowston in front. She's going to win the Kipco 1000 Guineas with Sean Levy.
First emotion was like, f*** yeah.
Right, Cheltenham, Saturday, day 2 of the showcase. Ben Linfoot, you've got a bet for us.
Yes, Cheltenham is
Don't seem
back.
convinced.
Well, you haven't looked at a jump race for months and months, and then you get a 20-runner Pertemps qualifier to have a go at. We're going to leave that to Mr. Matt Brocklebank. I want no part of that. Not yet, anyway. Well, I've got a few more hours.
Well, you wanted a Pertemps chase as well, didn't you? So you should be showing an interest.
Well, we're going to go with the epic value at William Hill handicap chase for the bet 1:15, first race on Saturday at Cheltenham, over 2 miles. And the angle for me here is the pace. I think it's going to be run at a strong gallop. You've got Haddocks to Zobo, Dancing on My Own, Not Long Till May, who are going to be up prominent throughout, and I think they might just drag the hold-up horses into this. And that brings me to Before Midnight, my selection. Won this race 2 years ago off a £1 higher mark. You have got Mr. Ben Sutton taking off a further £7. He's 4 from 7 for Fergal O'Brien. Good little record they've got going here. And had a nice little tune-up last time for this race. That was at Chepstow over hurdles, and he ran OK, but it obviously looked a sighter for going back over fences. And the way this race is going to be set up, I don't think he'll be far from off the pace himself. I think he'll be just behind the leaders, but that could be absolutely ideal, getting a toe into this. And we know he stays a lot further than 2 miles, this horse. But now, at this point in his career, he looks an out-and-out 2-miler, and he's got a perfect setup on Saturday. Before midnight for me.
And we know it's a potential qualifier for you, Matt. What's the horse that's caught your eye?
It is. It's a bit of a puzzle, isn't it? But I think tackling these kind of early season races, you have to kind of play to your strength and try and highlight these horses that do go well fresh. I think that's really important, obviously, at this stage of the season. And I do think the ground's going to be lively enough for some at Cheltenham this meeting. I'm with Espoir de Romay. I know he's got to give weight to a few of these interesting Irish horses a bit further down the weights that are obviously shorter in the betting as well, but he is a big price. He's running off a mark of 138, and I think that's kind of the crux of the argument, given the fact he was 160 over fences just a couple of seasons ago and looked to be really going the right way. Now, Kim Bailey, his trainer, I think one or two of the horses were definitely under the weather a little bit last season, and he had quite a light campaign. They switched him back to hurdles. He ran 3 times, placed on 1 occasion and ran okay, but I just think he might have been operating below his best. As I say, consequently, he's slipped in the weights. The 4 career wins for this horse have all come after a break of 50, 60 days or more. He's back from, obviously, a summer off, and he's come back as well after another wind operation. So he's had a summer breathing operation. The first time he had these wind done, he won first time up, and the tongue tie's back on as well. You know, he won in the first time tongue tie as well. So, yeah, plenty in favour for him, including the decent ground, I think. Espoir de Romay is going to go well under a big weight.
Wind operations and tongue ties. The jump season is back, Dave.
I'm sensing, yeah, it's a low-key start from Ben Linford.
No, I love it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, the jumps is back at Cheltenham this weekend. Thanks to Ben and Matt for their selections. And we'll be back. Bad news for Ben. More jumps racing next weekend. Charlie Hall Chase Day at Wetherby. We might even try to get an American selection or 2 for the Breeders' Cup as well. Best of luck with your own weekend bets. And here's hoping some fantastic action across Cheltenham and Doncaster.
You can watch more Sporting Life video by clicking on the left here, and you can download the free Sporting Life app in your app store now for the latest news, expert tipping insight and big race analysis, all at the tap of a finger. Users must be 18 or over to sign up to the Sporting Life app.